Hey everyone, Laura here.
Tanya here.
We've been friends for over a decade and worked together for a long time in call centers as agents, quality analysts, managers, and supervisors.
In 2018, we started up this podcast to talk about the batshit bonkers bullshit we see and continue to see in our time at work and at home as consumers.
We also share your stories as both consumers and as employees.
So keep them coming to Q as in cucumber at yahoo.com.
We host the show anonymously and use aliases. In the stories we tell, we change names and identifying details of people, locations, and companies.
We also share your emails anonymously, so any similarities to real people, locations, or companies is purely coincidental.
So if you think we're talking about you, guilty conscience much?
Now on with the fun.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
You're always this stupid. Did you take lessons? Just calm down.
Oh, fuck you!
You can't handle the truth.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
In other words, be nice, asshole.
It's just been
What
a
a
whole
mess.
thing. I'm telling you, the whole, oh my God.
It's just been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a bonkers week. Oh my
It's
God.
been a crazy fucking week.
So, welcome to Q's and Cucumber. I'm Lara Mack.
I'm Tanya Edwards.
Oh my God. So, I personally have had a week. Like, I can't. Oh my God. Okay. So, we'll start with Sunday. I don't know what the fuck happened. I really don't. And George and I tried desperately to figure it out, but there was not an explanation that made sense. So Sunday morning, I'm sitting on the couch. And all of a sudden, like I'm literally sitting on the couch drinking my coffee, right? And all of a sudden, my eye itches. And I'm like, okay. So I reach up and I rub my eye. And it's like, oh my God, that hurt. So I go into the bathroom and I like try to rinse it out. And it's hurting and it's hurting and it's hurting and it's hurting and it's itching. And I'm trying everything I can to get it out. 3 hours later, I go over to Walgreens and try to get something to rinse out my eyeball.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have eye drops, but they're not really doing anything.
Right.
Right? There's not really a lot at Walgreens that looks like it's going to help me. But okay, fine. I spend like $40 on all this product shit. Go home. It still hurts like a fucking mother. Like, it's so goddamn painful. So I decide I'm going to go to urgent care.
Right.
Because I can't get it out. I don't know what is in my eyeball. I go into urgent care and they're like, okay. So the lady kind of is looking at it and she goes, okay, well, there's definitely something in there and I'm going to rinse it out and blah, blah, blah. Well, they put these drops in your eye that numb your eyeball. And then they basically just squirt some stuff in your eye and send you on your way. You know, $200 later.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much. Because I got something in my fucking eyeball. I leave thinking it feels better, but it didn't. Because that's numb, right? So 3 hours later, I am in screaming pain. I am like, and it has clearly moved from the top of my lid down to the bottom. And now I'll put a picture out there. Be warned, it's gnarly.
That was
okay.
the one you put on that I saw the other day. Oh, yeah.
The bottom of my eyeball, I'm literally crying blood.
Oh, yeah.
My eyes are bleeding.
You were possessed.
I'm like, oh my fucking God. So I go back to urgent care. Right?
Do they charge you again when you do that?
No.
Okay.
Because I called in advance. I'm like, I really don't want to spend another $200 when y'all didn't get this shit out. And she was like, oh, no. Just come right back. We'll do it again. I'm like, okay, fine. And at first the lady's like, well, I don't know what we're going to see this time. And they put the stuff in your eye and they turn off the lights and they put like a black light so they can see like any cuts or anything.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I don't know what we're going to see. Oh, God. Oh. And she's like, oh, my God, whatever. You're right. It has moved all over your eyeball and you have cuts, all like abrasions all over your eyeball, including your cornea. And I'm like, you are fucking kidding me. I'm like, do you see it? And they're like pulling and it's like, now it's embedded like way up here like on the inner part of my eyelid where it's like turning into the top of my nose. And they're like, okay, we're just going to basically have to like power wash your eyeball. So there's two people holding my eyeball open and a third with this like little bottle of solution that they can squeeze real hard.
That's the one they use on my ear.
And shoot into my fucking eyeball.
Shit is weird.
And I'm like, oh my God, just tell me it is out. And they still didn't get it, but it didn't hurt as badly. I go home, put the stuff in. The next day, I can tell there's still something. And they keep saying, well, it's going to feel like something's still in there while it's healing. But I'm like, this is moving. I can feel it moving. Oh, God. So finally, I end up digging it out with like a fucking dry Q-tip. Let me tell you, that hurt like a bitch. So that was Sunday and Monday, and I'm pretty much healed up. It heals up pretty quick, but I had to put this like, it looks like Bactitration that you literally have to put in your eye.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
One time my little brother, he's a dipshit.
He's a dipshit.
DJ's a dipshit. He liked to play with batteries.
Likes to play with what?
He liked to play with batteries when he was a little kid.
Oh, Lord.
He was probably about 12, 13 years old. Well, about 11 or 12. And this dill hole was out in the backyard, unsupervised, playing with batteries, breaking them and shit.
Oh, my God.
And it broke, and all the battery acid went in his eyes.
Oh, God.
So they had to suture his eyeballs open, medevac him up to Denver to Children's, and just constantly like run saline through his eyes. And they said that it was so close on one of his eyes that it was like a hair between that it almost went into like his pupil. It was, he had green shit gooing out of his eyes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah,
So don't play around with your eyeballs, people.
Yeah, really.
Good God. So that was Sunday. Now, I will preface this, and I'm going to tell you the whole story. I will probably cut some of it out because the company I'm working for knows I do this, but they have asked me to keep it to a minimum. But I want to tell you the story. I'll cut out what I can. My boss, we'll call him Doc. It never fails for me where I either have an amazing boss or a real piece of shit. It's never an in-between, right? And at first he seemed really like, warm and nice and everything else. But it just became clear that he was really just in it for himself. And this is such a long story. But basically, the way that this all shook out was I realized this place didn't have any reporting. And as Sophia says, our girl Sophia, data rules the world. And if you have the data, you are the king. And I'm like, we don't have any way to analyze this data we are generating. And that's dumb.
Why not?
I don't know. So I'm like, look, let me build this for you. So I built them a giant Excel sheet with pivot tables and VLOOKUPs and graphs that are linked onto PowerPoint that automatically update and send it out, right? So I put all this together, and my boss, Doc, is like, when I showed him what I had built at my previous job at Newton's, he was like, yes, build that for us. So I built it, and I took time, but it was right about the time we actually started scoring calls that I started doing this. And I was like, well, I feel like I should, because I learned by calibrating. I don't learn by you telling me this is how to score, right? Well, we were doing a lot of calibration as a team at that point, right? And I was like, I think I should, not necessarily focus on this, but actually calibrate, right? And he was like, this is more important. Like, trust me, I'm going to take the heat for you not actually scoring calls. We'll get you caught up. I'm like, great. So I put this all together for him, and he basically asked me to update it every day and send it to him. And he's like, man, everybody in the higher ups, they love this. They're so excited. They can't believe that you can build this. This is amazing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, great. He's like, you're going to be getting a lot of requests, a lot of questions, yada, yada. Didn't get any, but that's okay, right? But he's telling me that everybody's super impressed. Okay, fine. But then when it comes time to get me caught up, nobody has the time. So then I'm scoring calls wrong. And he's the kind of motherfucker where he's like, okay, let's all get into a calibration. I pulled a call that Laura scored. It was completely wrong. I had so-and-so score it right. So we're all going to tell Laura how she's wrong.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah. I'm like,
that's not
and
really
everybody in the class is messaging me like, are you okay? Like, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand. I really don't. And he was scattered. He was all over the place, blah, blah, blah. So Tuesday, we all jump on a call with our boss's boss. And he's like, okay, Doc is no longer with the company. And we're like, oh. And he's like, so-and-so from our team, who we love, is now your supervisor. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, oh my God.
Because apparently Doc didn't understand how quality works.
No. So I'll call him Rocky.
Okay.
So Rocky, I sent him the sheet and he's like, holy shit, you fucking built this? He's like, I know how to type things into Excel. That is my limit on Excel.
Because Excel is the devil.
I know, Tanya hates Excel. So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, send this to me. So his very first day, right, he goes into this management meeting. And he doesn't know that it's not just management, but upper management, upper management, all the way up to CEO, right? So he's like, Rocky probably doesn't have anything to present. And Rocky's like, actually, I do. And the room explodes because Doc has been showing this all to them, saying he did it.
Oh.
He built it. So then I am technically in a consultation role, right? This is just during open, because it's healthcare. It's just during open enrollment.
Right.
It's supposed to stop in December, right? Our member services manager says, wait a minute, is this Laura like the girl that's always asking the really good questions in our group calibrations? Because she calibrates with us, right? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, fuck that. No, I don't want to lose that. She now has a permanent job if she wants it on my team.
Oh, wow.
So my boss calls me yesterday. He explains the whole thing to me. And he's like, so I got to get back into that meeting. I just stepped out for a minute to find out if you want the job. The training class starts on the 19th. You're going to have a different schedule. Can you find a babysitter for your son for 3 weeks for a permanent job?
Yeah.
I'm like, duh. He's like, great. Bye. And he like,
okay.
Then he called me later and explained. He's like, the room fucking exploded. And I'm like, fuck that. And it made me like, that's a long story and telling you like, it made me think about really shitty bosses.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of putting out a call to our listeners. Like, y'all send great stories, but next week I really want to cover bad bosses, because that was one of the funniest things. And I recorded an episode with Sophia, but it was back when we didn't have the mics and the computer working, so I got to re-record it. But Sophia and I tell this story about the boss that we originally had together. And I'll wait until I get Sophia on the show to talk about how we met and how we became friends. But we got promoted to be QAs at the same time, and our boss,
that chick
was a woman on the East Coast. Okay. Oh dear Lord.
She was a real
I'm gonna call her Maleficent.
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah. So Maleficent, she flat out admitted to us that she was bipolar and didn't take medication. So I eventually called her the high priestess of the bipolar tribe, and I said that I used to say that she sacrificed my self-esteem on the altar of her missing medication.
I believe
she was awful.
But you know what though? Whenever I came on and I had to deal with her all the time,
you.
She fucking loved me.
But so did every shitty person. Every shitty person boss that was above us. They always loved you, and you were always so mean to all of them.
I wouldn't even, mean, I could say that, but just very straightforward, like, well, that's fucking stupid. I just
know, right?
Say it, whatever, and
my favorite story about Maleficent was she was back on the East Coast, and she would assign us each duties, right? Well, she calls me one day and she starts yelling over the wallet or through the phone that I didn't get something done. And I don't know what she's talking about. And she's so embarrassed. This wasn't done in time for this meeting. And she thought it would be. And how dare I? And she's freaking out. And I don't know what she's talking about. So I put her on mute while she's screaming. And I yell at Sophia. I'm like, Sophia, did Maleficent ask you to put together this such and such? And she goes, yeah, I'm not done with it yet. I'm like, well, she's yelling at me because you didn't do it. And she's like, she didn't assign it to you. She assigned it to me. And this was common with Maleficent because she wasn't on her meds. And she just was so scattered and just swinging constantly, just like, oh my God. She would be calm for a couple weeks and then she'd freak out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, because I know whenever we switched over to a new form for collections one time, this bitch was losing her shit.
Oh, I know.
She kept coming out here, and then she was making us do like 2 or 3 times a week calibrations on the phone with our site here, her, and the other one that was in the Philippines.
Yep.
She was just like,
she was a hot mess.
Yeah, you need to teach these people how to do this, blah, blah, blah. And me and Carly would just be like, what the fuck, actually?
She was a hot, oh my God. So she's screaming at me, right? And finally, I cut her off, and I'm like, Melissa, I'm not trying to be like rude by cutting you off, but you didn't assign that to me. You assigned that to Sophia. And she goes, are you sure? I'm like, I literally just asked her. And she goes, oh, okay, bye. So Sophia and I are both at my desk, and we're both just kind of holding our breath, waiting for Sophia's phone to ring for her to yell at Sophia.
Nothing.
Never did. She only was mad that it wasn't done, and she was embarrassed when it was me.
Right.
When it was Sophia, and Sophia flat out said, she's like, I don't understand why she loved me and hated you. She was like, I don't understand. And she told me one day, she's like, Sophia is my show horse. Our other QA that you know is my workhorse. I don't know what you are. You're pretty much useless. She was like, wow.
Yeah, she was.
Thank you so much.
She was something else.
She was a fucking twat bag, cock juggling thunder cunt.
She was a twat waffle.
Oh my God, she was so awful. So it literally, this whole situation with Doc made me think about her, and it was just like, oh my fucking God.
It's hard when you have a bad boss. Like we have.
It is.
I have somebody that I report to. Right. And then I have, because I do all these different concepts, I work with all these different restaurants. I have to have a relationship with like at least 3 other managers who, work with me on these different restaurant concepts. And so, I've got my immediate boss, and then I've got like El Booger, and then I got 2 other people that I have to deal with. And I have to say that they all bring something different. And most of the time I'm able to go to any of them. I would say about 90% of the time I'm able to go to any of them. Like, this is what's going on. What should I do? Or, oh, no.
My bad. I just threw my phone. Sorry, go on.
But, and the guy that I report to directly, he's a little different bird. He really is. But he's I don't think he's ever really like managed people before. So this whole thing has been like a learning process to him.
Right. But that's different than having
and that's different than just having an asshole. And I can have to say, hands down, the best boss I've ever had was Carly.
Of course.
Like, I had one boss when I used to do hair. That bitch, we used to go to her house and get high, come back, do some hair, go up back, get high. That was, and now she's like this holy roller and everything else. But she was a ridiculous boss because she was always like stressed out about some shit. But
here's the thing, like my new boss. So we get into now. My Doc had made me look like an asshole to my whole team, and they're like, "Why is Laura so far behind? Why are we having to care about her?" Blah 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 blah.
Right.
Did not telling them that he put me on this project. So in our first team meeting, Rocky goes, "Just so y'all know, here's what Laura's been doing," and everybody on the team was like, "Holy!" And he showed it to them, and they were like, "Holy fucking shit!"
Okay,
so now everybody's coming to me with Excel questions and system questions, and I'm like, I'm more than happy to help you. And everybody's like, we were all wondering what the fuck was going on. I'm like, well, had Doc not been an asshole, this would have been easier. So all that and telling you about my crazy week is to get to a little message to one of our awesome super fans that I've developed a nice little relationship with through that Shaper app, Karen girl. Karen's developing her own podcast, and I've been helping her.
Yay.
And she sent me some stuff to share on the show, but I wanted to share it with you first.
Okay.
And I knew you've been crazy busy and you didn't have the time. But Karen girl, that was my week. So I have not gotten, she sent me a sample of her podcast. I'm going to listen to it. I promise, girl, I'll get to it. I swear to God, I will. And we haven't gotten to the other stuff, but that is coming. And thank you for listening. We love you, Karen.
Yay, Karen.
Okay, so we got a bunch of stories. These are good. Okay. So I mentioned, I think last week, that everybody gives themselves their own nicknames. And now the nicknames are getting...
And what's so sad is sometimes, because especially whenever you're a quality analyst, right? And you deal with a large group of people like we used to, you see them and you might be scoring them. Your friend might be scoring them. You don't know because you don't know everybody's name. And we come up with nicknames for people. I still do it. Like there's a guy that at work that we call him Grandpa Jeggings. I mean, that's just his name.
Oh my God. Shut up.
I didn't even come up with that when somebody else did, and it cracks me the fuck up.
Oh my
Grandpa
God.
Jeggings.
But these people are giving themselves their own nicknames, which I think is awesome. And Pete, seriously, go away, dog. You're killing me right now. Okay. So this one is from somebody who calls himself Blanket Fort General.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm kind of in love with that.
I'm going to be Captain Crayola and come hang out in your blanket fort. I got the big 64 box and got a sharpener on it.
Shut up. Okay. So Blanket Fort General says he's in Kansas. He says, "Hey ladies, love the show and I love the grocery store stories. I worked in a grocery store and here was the dumbest lady I ever came across. It says, I begin ringing up a customer's purchases at the register and she says, wait, when you ring up those bagged bulk items, don't put them on the part the laser shines through. Put them on the metal part only." Right? To like weigh them.
Right.
Like your fruits and vegetables.
Right,
I think that's what he's talking about. Right. And I say, is it a problem if I scan everything else with the laser? Like, what's going on?
Do you think it's going to burn a hole through your apples?
No. Here's what she says. No, it's just those bags are clear and lasers give you cancer.
What kind of laser are they using?
So because the laser shined on your apple,
you're going to get the cancer.
You're going to get the cancer.
Okay, stupid.
Being out in the sun will actually give you more cancer.
And that bologna that you bought?
The hot dog. Have you ever seen what's in a pepperoni? I mean, seriously.
Come on, lady.
Good Lord. So thank you, Blanket Fort General. That made me laugh. Oh my God.
My apples.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so this is from Puppy Panda I thought that was a cute name. In Spain.
Ooh la la.
That's France. Dipshit.
Whatever. What the fuck?
I can't. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Man, I'm so tired. Yesterday
so
I worked from like 9 o'clock in the morning until about 8:30 last night.
Do you need to go outside? Is that the problem? Oh shit, I don't think he's been outside yet. Hold on, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. Pete needed a potty break. Ooh la la. God, you're killing me, dude. Okay. So it says, hi girl, love the show here in Spain. It gives me a little taste of home. But don't think that only Americans are the dumb ones.
Oh, God.
I worked in a fast food place in the UK, and this happened. She says, a woman walks in, and I say, hello, ma'am. Welcome to blah, blah, blah. What can I get for you today? And the woman says, I'd like 2 burgers. One of them, sesame. I'm not even going to do the UK accent. I'm just going to say.
I'm sounding like a drunk Adele.
I know.
Boy,
and Adele with some sort of learning disability. Good Lord. No offense to people with learning disabilities, but I can't do it.
Or Adele.
Or Adele. Or Adele. Adele, girl. I love it. Can I tell you what's the funniest part about Adele for me? So she sang Chasing Pavements, the first time I ever saw her, on the Saturday Night Live episode that Sarah Palin was on. It was back in 2008, right? That was the first time I ever saw her. But I wasn't quite paying attention. And we were and it was still back in the day when we were working for Chucky's, right? And I didn't know what she was saying with chasing pavements. And I thought she was saying chasing payments. I was like, is she talking about collections?
Like, is she a drug dealer?
So I find the song and I play it for Sophia. I'm like, what is she saying here? And she goes, is she saying chasing payments? I'm like, see, it's. I think it truly was just because of our jobs. But every time I hear, I love that song, but I just think, should I give up? Or should I just keep chasing payments? Like, that's a collections theme.
She's a drug dealer's doing collecting money.
She's a bag. Adele's a bag man for the mob. Oh my God. Okay. So she says, the woman who is with her young son says, I'd like 2 burgers, one of them on sesame seedless buns, please. And I say, I'm terribly sorry, but we're actually out of the seedless buns right now. And the woman starts screaming, how dare you? My son has deathly allergies due to a lot of things, I'll have you know. And I said, well, is he allergic to sesame seeds? And she says, no, he's not.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And I said, well, ma'am, the only difference between the seeded and the seedless buns are the sesame seeds. So it would be fine for your son to eat one with the seeds. And the woman just loses her shit. How fucking dare you? You don't fucking tell me what my son can or cannot fucking eat. I want a seedless bun, goddamn you. Give me your manager.
Okay.
Okay. I said, okay. And Puppy Panda says, I go get the manager and explain the situation. My manager, not a people person. And had pretty much had it up to here that day. This was not the day to fuck with him, apparently. He says, my manager walks over, grabs a seeded bun, and proceeds to, in front of the customer with a knife, slice the top half of the bun and throw it away. Threw the rest of the bun on the counter and says, here's your goddamn seedless bun, ma'am. And I say from behind over his shoulder to her, have a nice day. And she goes, fuck you. And storms out. That manager gets the Golden Gherkin Award for today.
Right?
Actually, we have 2 Golden Gherkin Awards actually today.
I could totally see myself doing that. Cut the fucking top of the bun off. Pick them off. Do something.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck away from me with this stupid problem.
Especially when you're not allergic to them.
You're not a fucking allergic to them. Take you and your crybaby ass son down the street and get a cup of water. That's all you deserve.
I get it if he's allergic to them, but he's not. And you know that.
So, like allergies, because we take food orders, right?
Right.
At my job. And when somebody says they don't want something, we have to ask, is that an allergy or a preference? Now, I can't eat peas. I can't eat them. Can't eat a dish with, if I just can't do it. Never have been able to. And I will, if somebody says, oh, if I order a dish and they ask me, is that an allergy or preference? Sometimes, just to make sure they don't put them in there, I'll say it's an allergy. We have people that do that. And whenever that happens, we're like, okay, well, I can't take your order. I have to get you over to the restaurant. No. I'm just saying, I just don't want you to put them in there. It's just a Nope, you already said it was an allergy.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye now.
You decided to try to get cute because you thought by saying it was an allergy.
That, yeah. So, and if you say it's a preference, that's fine too. We won't transfer you over. But because we do know that there are some people that have. Like, why would you order from a Chinese place if you have a shellfish allergy?
Like my friend Sharon, my God, when I go out with her and go to eat, it's like ordering. I used to joke with her that it's like ordering with Sally from When Harry Met Sally, because it's, I want this on the side and that on the side and this on the side and that on the side. And I mean, even the littlest things. Yeah.
So we have to be careful with the allergies, So if you tell us it's an allergy, we will handle.
Okay. So here's an allergy story with Sharon, actually.
Oh, God.
Sharon and I go to, and I won't say the name of the restaurant, but it's a breakfast place, right? And she asks about their omelets, and she has a severe wheat allergy. And when she gets wheat in her system, it causes her respiratory system to swell up and shut down.
Oh my God.
She can't breathe, right? So she asks about the omelet. She's like, do you put anything extra or different in the eggs, or is it just the eggs and whatever other the ingredients are, whether it's meat or veggies or whatever? They're like, no, it's just the eggs. And she's like,
that is a lie.
Of course it's a lie. So she says, okay, so she orders it, right? We're sitting there. She takes like 2-3 bites and she's like, Laura, this tastes sweet. And I'm like, what? She's like, take a bite. So I take a bite. I'm like, something else is in there. So we call the waitress back over and we're like, are you sure there's nothing in there? And she goes, actually, I don't know. Now, Sharon had said, I have an allergy. Can you confirm?
Here you goddamn idiot.
Right? And she goes, actually, I don't know. Let me get the manager. So the manager comes out and we ask, and we're like, is there something else in there? And all fucking proud, he goes, oh, yes. We put a tablespoon of pancake batter in them to make them fluffy. And Sharon like immediately can't breathe. And we're like, when people, and he immediately like face goes from super proud to super, oh shit. We're like, motherfuck, don't fuck around with allergies, people.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this bitch, no. So this one is from Marsha the Martian. She says there's stupid and then there's scary nuclear level stupid.
Oh my God.
I say,
have to read it like this because it's Marvin the Martian.
no,
right?
I can't. I can't. She says, I'm working for a company that takes like ticket orders, like Ticket Master or whatever, right? And a woman calls and I say, can I help you? And she says, yeah, I'd like to buy tickets for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And she says, okay. I say, okay, wonderful. When will you be attending? And the woman says, tonight. And I say, I'm sorry, ma'am. We actually have sold out. We're sold out for tonight's events. And the woman goes, oh, okay. I'll just get tickets when I go to park. And I said, no, ma'am. We don't have any tickets left. You won't be able to purchase them at the park. And the woman says, right, you're sold out for the advance tickets. That's okay. I'll just get them there. I say, I'm sorry, ma'am, but we're sold out of all the tickets. That means there are none available when you get there. It's not just advance tickets. It's every single ticket that's out there. And the woman says, but I can still go, right? I just won't have a ticket? What? And I say, ma'am, you can't attend the Mickey Mouse's Not So Scary Halloween Party without a ticket. And we don't have tickets available. And the woman says, fine, I'll get my tickets when I go to park. Bye. And hangs up.
There's some really
Sometimes some people.
Yeah. No.
I'm sorry, Marsha the Martian.
That's awful.
And I'll bet you $1 million that woman
bitch
called to
showed up.
complain.
And because there were no tickets when she got there to park.
And said that she called.
Yeah.
And she was
and
told. I
Marsha
guarantee you.
said,
Marsha said
I could pull up and park and get a ticket.
I'm sorry, Marsha. We know exactly what happened in this situation.
Yeah.
Because we have been there.
I had an agent yesterday taking a phone call for one of my catering concepts.
Uh-oh. I'm scared now.
She's a newer agent, and it's for a larger Mexican restaurant. And they have like these tiered catering things, right?
Right.
And you get one protein. The second one, you get 2 proteins. Third one, you get a whole of a lot of food with 3 proteins. And the lady started off wanting the one with the 3 proteins. Basically, all she wanted to do was get some food to make some tacos for some kids in the neighborhood after they got done trick-or-treating. Okay, that's a nice idea. Thank you. That's great. Triple was way too much food, right? Oh, no, I just wanted to make a taco and go home. Basically, it's all she wanted to do. So then, like, okay, she was like, I need a lot less food. So she tells her about the first one, the one where you get 1 protein. Well, I can't just order, like, some taco meat and shells. No, that's not how this works.
No, ma'am.
So then she's like, well, what about the second choice? And then we even tell her, you can get burritos, pre-made burritos, right? No. I want them to make their own taco and go.
Oh, God.
I mean, this call was like...
You're making Halloween way too complicated, whore.
Fucking burritos and tacos, bitch. I mean, this poor agent was on the phone with this lady for like 15 fucking minutes. And I'm Skyping her. I'm like, oh, my God, are you serious?
Who in their big old costume wants to come like
and eat a fucking taco?
No offense if anybody out there has done this successfully, I would really like to know how you made it work.
I was like,
and if you did it and it failed, I really want to know about that too.
She was just so confused why she couldn't just get some shells and tacos.
Go to the grocery store.
It would be cheaper because she ended up getting like $300 worth.
She actually did it?
After like 20 minutes. I'm over here just listening to this call like, what the fuck is going on? Like, she ended up getting like $300 worth of food. She had no idea what was going on. So whenever we placed the order, we're like, okay, so you get X amount of toppings. You get X amount of salsas. You get X amount of this. This how many, you know.
Oh, my God.
So we're telling her, and she's like, oh, but I don't want all that. And then she's like, okay, well, those are your choices. You
are not ordering from Burger King, okay? You can't have it your way all the time.
We have 4 different kinds of salsas. You get to choose 2. Well, I don't want all that kind of salsa.
Oh, God.
Okay, do you want cheese, lettuce, sour cream, guacamole, queso, blah, blah, blah? Well, I just wanted some cheese and some lettuce. I don't want all that. I mean, every time I don't want all that stuff. Can I just get like regular tacos? I mean, so finally she was like, well, I guess if I have to order it. But you don't have to order a fucking thing. Go to the store, buy yourself some fucking hamburger meat.
You don't have to do any of this.
Tacos. You get the taco shells, $1. Like, they're usually 10 for 10 at the fucking store. And a bag of cheese is like $8 for the big bag. There you go. You just spent $25 to feed some kids some tacos they probably don't even fucking want. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, my God. Okay. So this is from Annie Pistols. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Annie.
From Connecticut.
Why do I gotta make a little sound every time they tell me?
I don't know, but I love it. Keep doing it. Tanya's sound effects.
Look, I even made the little finger guns, too.
Like, you know they can't see you, right?
They can in my heart.
They can feel you.
They can feel my...
They can...
I need a fucking day off.
Stupid.
I swear to God.
Okay. This is like somebody after Sophia's heart right here.
Oh, Lord.
So she says, I used to work in a game store. She says, one of my friends walks in and we're standing there chit-chatting and there's a TV behind me and the news is playing and there's a violent carjacking, right? Where these poor people have been killed. That's on the news behind me, right? Is what she's saying. And she says, my friend and I are chatting and we're watching it and we're like, oh my God. And when this middle-aged woman walks in and she sees the TV and she says, I can't believe today's violence. I blame that all on the violent media. And I say, yeah, people are just a little crazy these days. And the woman says to me, can I have Grand Theft Auto? And my friend, without missing a beat, says, just out of curiosity, who are you buying this for? I'm just doing a little survey for the store. And she says, oh, of course, it's for my 13-year-old son.
Oh, really?
Oh, you blame the violent meat. Now, I am not a person who blames violence on like
anything
video
other than
games,
your damn self.
on video games and all that other shit, right? But if you are a person that's saying it's the violent video games and you're buying violent video games for your kid, you're a moron.
You fucking idiot.
Oh my God. I thought that was great. Thank you, Annie. Okay. This one, oh my God. This is my honorable mention for the Golden Gherkin this week. This is from somebody named Japanese Judo. And you'll understand. I would just like to clarify. She did the hands. She did the hands. She didn't just do this. She did the hands. With the hands. It was like an instinct. It sounded like she even did it on purpose because of the
automatically when you say you have to do that.
Oh my God, I'm
dying. We have tears.
Tears streaming down my face. Oh my God. Oh my Christ. Hey ladies, love the show. I work for a billing department for a big cable company, so I feel your pain. And he says, I speak English clearly, but also clearly it is my second language. Lady calls up and says, I just got my bill. And it says I owe you $400 in adult films, but I haven't watched them. I said, I apologize for the inconvenience, but we got that information from your receiver. Do you think maybe somebody in your house might have ordered them? And the lady says, no, it's only me and my nephew. And I said, well, how old's your nephew? He's 14 years old, and he would never do that. Of course, he would never do that.
Of course.
Bullshit.
No, never.
And she says, I need you to credit my account for the whole amount. And I say, again, I apologize for the inconvenience, but I won't be able to do that at this time. I say, we've credited your account twice for the same thing in the last 6 months. And the lady says, I need a credit now. You hear me? And I say, I understand your frustration, but as I told you before, it's impossible for me to do this at this moment. And the lady says, what? What did you say? I can't understand you. You have a really thick accent. Then he pauses in the explanation. He says, at this point, I bring out my age-old trick when it comes to this moment. Because apparently it happens quite a bit. He says, so I say, I apologize. I said I won't be able to credit your account at this time, hoping to give her one last redeeming chance. She says, what? You need to learn English before you get on the phones. I can't understand a word you said. At this point, I decide to bring out the big guns. I say, okay, so you would like me to credit your account $600. And the lady says, yes, that's what I'm asking for. Thank you. And I say, oh, now you understand my English.
Really?
Sorry, we can't credit your account at this time. And the lady says, let me speak to your supervisor. You understood my English when I said what you wanted to hear, but when I didn't, you don't understand English. Fuck and you.
Bastard devil.
Fuck.
And I'm
shut the fuck you
that
up.
people are assholes like that.
Yeah,
too.
I know. Especially. So whenever there's like a shooting on the news of an unarmed black person by a cop, Nathan will say to me, because I said this once, and Nathan was like, it's time for you to start knocking on doors, apologizing for all white people again. Because I was like, God, I just want to knock on people's doors and just apologize on behalf of all white people for shit like that. Like, we're not all like that. So when he sees it on the news before me, he's like, time for you to start knocking on doors, apologizing for white people.
Get your tennis shoes on.
And I'm like, God damn it, now what happened? Fuck. So I apologize, Japanese judo.
That's awful.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Nanny Nanette in Montana.
Nanny.
She says, I overheard a coworker trying to help someone choose a plant at a large, like, home store, right? And my coworker says, how can I help you today? And the customer says, I'm looking for a nice plant for the front of my house. And I say, all right, we have a number of excellent options to choose from. What kind of sun exposure does the spot get? And the customer says, I don't understand the question. It's light all day, then it's dark at night. And she says, at this point, I realize I'm just losing all hope for humanity. I don't understand the question. It's light during the day and it's dark at night.
Because I don't understand, because I didn't put curtains outside, so there's always light.
Oh my God. All right. This one is, so the previous one was the Golden Gherkin employer or employee, that manager. This is the Golden Gherkin award for customers.
Oh God.
This week, this could be the greatest customer ever. Because I could see my dad doing this, and that's why I love this. This is, you're going to die. You're not going to have a sound effect for this, and if you do, I'm going to die. Because I don't know what the sound effect would be.
I'll find one. So at work, I talk like this all the time. Hey, darlings, can you get me a cup of coffee?
God. Oh, my God. Okay, so this customer, or this email is from the Cupcake Countess of Caracas.
blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God, you're killing me right now. Oh my God.
But I think that should be my name. I just...
The Cupcake Countess of Caracas.
I need a crown with little cupcakes on it.
Do that again. There's episode picture right there. Y'all are gonna see what Tanya just did.
And I look like shit today, so don't say anything.
I'll fix the photo in post.
I have on my little skeleton leggings.
Oh my God. Okay.
Cute too.
She says, I'm working in a grocery store when a man of at least 80 years old comes up to my checkout lane. And here's what happened as I was bagging his last item. I say, man, I just don't think this is going to fit in here. And the customer with a completely straight face said, that's what she said.
What?
And I said, I'm sorry? And the customer, still deadpan straight face, said, that's what she said. Needless to say, I nearly died of laughter. If there were only more grandfathers out there like that. God bless you, sir. With the Golden Gherkin tip of the hat right there.
I like it when old people say funny shit.
We're just like, it's the reason why Betty White in Lake Placid is the most genius. Officer fuck meat.
The other day, Grandma said twat waffle.
I told you she got that from me. But here now, since you told, because I said it on Facebook and now she says it. So Tanya's grandma.
No, she's my mom. But we call her Grandma.
Yeah, she follows me on Facebook. She likes every single post, every single thing that I do, right? And she constantly, and then she turns around and says the stuff that I say on Facebook in real life. So now that you told me that that's what she's doing, I'm trying to come up with stuff for Facebook just to see if it filters out into your life.
Right, like if I hear her
it's
say
like a weird science
about,
experiment.
If I hear her say eat a bag of dicks, I'll know.
You're like, it's Laura.
It's Laura.
I'm totally corrupting. Not that she needed much corruption, but Grandma.
No. Yeah, no, yeah.
Grandma Marnie. Oh my God. So that is our episode this week. Thank you so much. Remember to send your bad boss stories. Next week, we are just going to do a bad boss event. I don't know what we're going to call it. What should we call our bad boss event?
I don't
We'll
know.
have to think about that. Send us your suggestions.
For bad bosses?
Yeah, like the name of a bad boss episode. Like, what would you call that? Let's think about that. So that is your homework. Your Q is in cucumber homework. From Lord Tanya. And come up with nicknames that Tanya can do more like sound effects and hand motions. Because that shit was genius. All right. So until next time, I'm Lara Mack.
I'm Tanya Edwards.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
Like what you hear? Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. And follow us on our Facebook page by searching Q as in Cucumber. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching QAIC_Lara, LARA, and QAIC_Tanya, TANYA. Don't forget to check out our other show, hosted by me and Jessica James, called The Parent Memoirs. And we want to hear from you. Share your stories by emailing us at qasIncucumber@yahoo.com, and you might just hear your stories on a future episode. Love your faces.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.